hypothetical Trumps and nukes. I have a question. I just have a real question with Trump and nukes.
All right.
If Trump is going to meet with Kim Jong-un, right? Yeah. Trump, with the nuclear deal. If he goes there, it says, "Hey, man, we can get these sanctions off as long as you give us all your nuclear weapons." Should he be voted for the Nobel Peace Prize?
Trump?
Kim
Jong-un?
No. Trump. Now, just sit on that for a minute.
Yeah, so you're saying that he is going to disarm...
If he does.
Yeah,
the disarming of...
North Korea would be fucking, groundbreaking.
So, Nobel Prize for Trump.
So,
okay.
Well,
Obama
he got it twice, didn't he?
Yeah.
So I disagree. I think the Nobel Peace Prize is honestly kind of a bullshit thing nowadays.
Right. But the symbolic of it, that...
so the symbology still... look.
Come on.
I don't even know why Obama... I don't know why... No, let me finish. You're automatically assuming that I'm going to say absolutely fucking no.
Okay.
Which is incorrect.
Okay.
All right, so... I don't like Trump. You're correct there. However, I am not so cognitively dissonant that I can't allow a true statement to be true.
Yeah.
So, if he meets with Kim Jong-un, and Kim Jong-un, as of now, seems to be of the persuasion that if talks go correctly, he will do that. Now, do I believe a thing that Kim Jong-un says? Not a single word.
Okay.
Now, in this hypothetical world, Trump meets with him, they have this talk, they become buddies, and he totally denuclearizes this country, and even scales back general ammunition. If that were the case, you're fucking right. If Obama can get 2 Nobel Peace Prizes for whatever he got him for, I don't know, because he didn't do shit. So if he can get 2 of them, Donald Trump absolutely would deserve that. Now,
fair enough.
But I totally would. But at this point, I disregard the Nobel Peace Prize as meaning a fucking thing. Because what did Obama do to get his?
Well,
what did he actually do?
Okay. So, peace prizes are given.
Peace, yes, okay.
Are given different areas, medicine, literature, mathematics.
Well, no, isn't that a different Nobel Prize, or is it always a peace prize for?
Actually, yeah, you might be right. Because different Nobel Prize for different subjects.
Sciences and yeah, okay.
But the Peace Prize is basically
diplomacy.
Diplomacy. And Obama did some good things with diplomacy. Some. I'm not saying I know. Trust me. But you've never heard about the drone strikes on CNN.
I fucking no, not on CNN.
Okay.
I'm fully aware.
Or MSNBC.
Barack Obama, he was a pretty face. He was lipstick on a pig, and he had absolutely no spine. Just like Democrats in general, they have no fucking spine.
So, all right. So we're in agreement that Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize for the symbolic reason of what that meant.
If that were to ever happen, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. My next question.
Sure.
Is Tool relevant?
Now, well, define relevant. Like,
okay. You think a new album can live up to its
10,000 Days,
which is even their best. I would say their best was Lateralis.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'm with you. Although Wings for Marie, one of the best compositions. Not the.
I agree. Yeah. That I'm never gonna say that album's bad because it wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
But do you feel like I heard their new Perfect Circle stuff.
Yeah, talk.
Yeah, I wasn't too. I would have to re-listen to it.
Yeah, it's something I think that grows on you.
Yeah. But I see online where people are commenting like, "Man, 12 years is a fucking long time, man."
Yep.
You think they may have passed
the
prime? Horse, yeah, or not the prime, because I feel like you can still it's not like physicality. Boxing,
right.
But musical, but you feel like they might just be removed from the pulse a little bit of music. Now, I'm never gonna by the pulse. I don't mean by mainstream pop.
Well, of course,
shit,
right. I mean just being current and on people's minds.
Yeah.
So Tool specifically is a very unique case in that. I mean, we were already used to having decent spans between albums. I think the shortest span between albums was Undertow and Anima, right? That was only 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah, Anima came very close after
Undertow, but then it was a good chunk of years between that and Lateralis, I believe.
Yeah. And Lateralis came out in 2001.
1. I want to say it was 1.
2001.
And then we didn't get 10,000 Days until
2006.
2006. That was 6 years later. So we're already used to a big gap for them. And I feel like, in between Lateralis and 10,000 Days was a long gap. But as soon as I heard there was a new album coming out, my absolute excitement and passion was totally reignited. Not to say that I ever really lost it for Tool, because they are my favorite band ever. But A Perfect Circle, Pussifer, all of these things, if you're attached to Maynard as the man, there was plenty of other things to keep you fed in that sense. His new lyrics, his new whatever. But now when it comes to Tool as a band, I feel like, I've never really seen them and when I say mainstream, I don't mean like how you said, I don't mean like pop and top 40, but I mean like I've never seen them as like every metalhead loves Tool. You know what I mean? Like every metalhead could probably say, yeah, they enjoys Pantera or Meshuggah, but like, does every metalhead really love Tool? Like
I think so.
Maybe they appreciate it. I don't know. I'm just saying because I don't know. So I feel like the following for Tool is so stable and just so rock steady that the true fans, which, I mean, there's always going to be room to bring in new fans. And I guess every album is hopefully a new opportunity to do so. But I feel like, are they relevant? I don't know. I mean, has Tool ever been relevant in a sense where they're being super political or super topical? He will talk about things that are current in as far as like ideas, right? But like his ideas specifically end up talking about much broader topics, things that are timeless. So, and
kind of like the Bill of Rights.
In a way, right, yeah. So again, but that's again more Tool. When you get into A Perfect Circle, he is actually much more political. Yes, and then when you get into Pussifer,
it's all fun and games.
Yeah. So do I feel like they're relevant? That's a hard question to answer. To me, yes, they will always be relevant. To the bigger picture, the music industry, I don't know. And I feel like they get shrugged off in general in the music industry anyway. Like, because they don't have that single...
I think they're the modern-day Rush.
Yeah, I could totally agree.
Like, if you know about them, you'll know and respect them, but you're going to catch them on,
Jimmy Kimmel or something, whatever.
I only ask that question because, sometimes I like to read the comments just to see what people think. There's always going to be like, oh man, fucking me. Some people do have points. They're like, kind of a joke that we have to wait 12 years for it to. Right. Of course, they're like, oh, whatever Tool gives you is a gift. Like, no, this is.
At some point, they're just people, and we're just people, and they're just musicians.
Yeah,
and
this is.
We want to
jam.
This
is actually capitalism. Like, they give us money.
Yeah.
If we like it, we buy it. It's a two-way street here. We're paying their bills too.
Right, for sure. That is true. So, are you excited for the new album? Have you found that you've fallen out of Tool because they've taken so long?
No. My tastes have evolved, but I always do like listening to Tool. Like, I like them more now for other things than I was when I was younger. I am excited, but I'm not like. It's weird. It's like I hope they blow my mind out, but if it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. Yeah. I hope my mind.
You're willing to let it be what it is, but you would love to be blown away.
Yeah, like to me, I hope they reinvent themselves, like to a. Actually, believe it or not, I think 10,000 Days is a reinvention, and you heard the interviews prior, and they were very adamant about it, especially Adam Jones and Justin Chancellor. They got a lot of ideas off of Meshuggah, and you can hear but it's obviously it's Tool.
Yes,
but you can hear things, and I hope they can do a reinvention where it's like, this is very different. Like I never really heard this.
Right. So I feel like that's probably what we're going to expect, because I feel like the only reason and I could be wrong.
But they brought it on themselves waiting for 12 years.
No, of course. So then you got to hope that the only reason they did do that is because they knew that they were like, I'm sure that the songs that are ready now and slated for the album have been in progress for years. Yeah. So I have a feeling, probably since the end of 10,000 Days, probably even during 10,000 Days, you just never got to use it in that album. So they might be bringing some of that old material plus adding new. So, don't know. I think it is going to, I think the only reason they're so, not the only reason, but I think one of the reasons they're so confident in this time frame, and they're not rushing necessarily, is because I think they're truly confident in their material. Now, whether we all agree when it hits the store, I mean, that'll wait to be seen. It took me probably 2 or 3 listen-throughs all the way through of 10,000 Days to fall in love. Yeah. Like, there were a couple of tracks like 10,000 Days, Wings from Marie Part 1, Part 2 that I liked immediately, Rosetta Stone, but like Vicarious took me a while, The Pot took me a while, Intentions I liked, but that did take me a little bit. So it definitely, and I'm a huge Tool fanboy, so it still took me some listening. So I feel Jambi, absolutely, yep. But that is part of the band too, is to challenge you. So I do feel like we do have some new soundscapes to look forward to. I know for a fact that Danny Carey has been working on some new drum tech, and everyone, I don't know if you follow Tool Archive on YouTube.
I've seen some of them.
So, but I don't know who they are and how they have their hands so much on the pulse of Tool, but whether they're a friend of the band or a friend of the family, I don't know. But they seem to really get like right on top of new news. And in one of the more recent videos, they were saying, and maybe you've heard that, so far Sebastian Bach has gone into the studio to listen, Tom Morello from Rage has gone in to listen, and they're all saying really exciting things.
But it's lip service.
It's lip service, but I also would like to think that these are professionals listening to other professionals and sincerely being blown away.
I have no doubt that, there'll be things that are like, oh shit, but I want that Lateralis experience, which is actually unfair to the band.
I know, of course.
But then again, to me, it's, it's just, I hope they can just, I want them to put something in front of my ears that will make me go, God damn.
Yeah.
Like, God damn.
Where have you been this whole time? Right, yeah.
And, the 12 years was worth this, if you can give me this all the time.
Yep.
Korn, their new album.
They're prolific, dude.
I think, their new album was, I enjoyed it.
What was the name of the newest?
The Serenity of Suffering.
Serenity of Suffering.
Serenity of Suffering.
Yeah, okay. I've heard a couple tracks of that.
I personally thought, I was like, yeah.
That's exactly right. So it's like, I mean, for Korn, for me, it fell off a little bit around Untouchables. Like, again, it was one of those albums, one of my favorite bands ever, but I definitely had to listen to it a few times before that whole CD became something I liked, generally speaking. But yeah, no, I mean, like, then they, after that was maybe, like, Take a Look in the Mirror. And then there was and then they had, like, one that was a lot of...
There were a couple...
heavy dubstep albums where they kind of dipped
Believe it or not, the dubstep, I thought... Yeah,
it was kind of nasty, I thought.
I thought it was alright.
Yeah. It was hard as hell.
Yeah, like, not even that. It was just different, where I was like, okay, I know this is a Korn from 1994. And what's great about the Serenity of Suffering album is that you can actually hear the merging of what the old school wanted, plus what they were at as musicians, where it was like, hey, yeah, we could pull out that old school stuff,
that vibe,
but it's a different kind of rawness.
Well, they're gonna just use different soundscapes to get that story.
Exactly.
Yep.
I was thoroughly happy. I was like, okay, obviously there's going to be emotional attachment to what you've always been presented first.
Yep, for sure.
But I was like, hey, if this is where you want to step off from, I'll go for the ride.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And then that's how you've got a solid band, is if you can comfortably do that.
Yeah.
If you're resisting the whole album and just saying like, come on, man, when are you going to get to it? When are you going to get to it? Like, when are you going to blow me away? You're setting yourself up to automatically. You got to be open-minded, and I guess it obviously just depends on who you are as a person, if you are that open-minded about it. But, and I'm super excited for Tool. I can't wait. And I know also because once the album drops, they're going to tour.
Yeah.
And like, recently, last year, Tool came through to Boston. They were Boston Calling.
Yeah.
But it was a 3-day festival. I had no idea which day they were playing, and one-day ticket was over $100.
Yeah, and those festivals don't sound that good.
You're never anywhere close enough to them, and So my buddy Eric, the guy who's he's the ticket guy. He was like, "Say, hey, I can get you a ticket. You should come down." And I was like, I appreciate the offer. But also, I think at the time I couldn't even afford it anyway. But I said, I really just want to wait for them to be on official Tool next album tour, because they're headlining, and
You heard all the songs already. Like I had a chance to go too, and I declined to the festival.
Yeah.
And I was like, when they drop a new album.
Sure, right? Because I've already heard these songs live. Yeah, I've seen them twice. I believe it's been twice.
Yeah, like 2 or 3. I think I've seen them.
Because you went to Mohegan Sun or something.
No. I've always seen them in the
Mansfield.
I've always seen them.
I thought you went to. I could have sworn you went to one of those casinos to see them.
No, they went to the Saga. Oh, I did see a Perfect Circle.
Okay,
up in Boston with Katie. Will's ex-girlfriend.
Oh,
Katie, way back then.
Was this? Wait, were we all there?
I think you guys were there too. Yeah.
Yeah, that was because they did the whole like Annihilation album. It was all their covers.
Yeah.
They did all their covers.
I think.
Because that was the only Perfect Circle show I've ever seen.
Yeah. So up in Boston.
Yeah, at the Bank Pavilion. On the water. Yeah. That was a cool venue too. I like that venue. But unfortunately, not a very good APC show for me. I wanted to hear Judith. I wanted to hear Three Libras. I like their cover album.
Yeah.
Annihilation is a good cover album because they did.
But it's not what.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah. Actually, I remember Katie saying at the end, she was like, "He sounded too good," which made me go, are they feeding?
Oh, like maybe he was. I cannot see Maynard ever lip syncing. I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I don't know. He did sound good, but you see other videos of him, and he always does sound good. So
right.
He does have a good voice.
Well, because he's also got a sound tech that travels the band that knows exactly how to dial him in based on any sound system.
You're always gonna have an off day, but
of course,
I would say I was like, nah, I think he actually does sound that good.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally do. Yeah.
Those are my questions for now.
Okay.
Something will pop up again.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. So, all right. Well, so we were talking about music. Let's continue with music. So now we're talking about perhaps the future of music, and I mean,
Launchpad.
It's called Launchpad. So it's kind of like a DJ sampler.
Yeah.
Where you got the big rubber buttons that you can kind of press and they light up and stuff. So I'll show a quick video. I watched a ton of these things. So let's see. I want to get a decent.
So this is basically a drum pad or a launch pad that gives out, musical notes.
Well, so it's not individual notes; it's actually samples, in a sense.
Oh.
And okay, so that. Where the hell is the one that I saw? All right, well, so this is top 5 hardest. This is a decent example of kind of what this thing can do. So it's got a light show built in that you can program, or it's got its own thing, and then you can go through and dedicate every button to a very specific sample. Yeah. To the point where you can put together a sentence, lyrics, and have them say.
All right, so I get the gist of it. All right, I will have to say I am not impressed.
All right, so the reason why I would even bring this up because generally speaking, if I just saw that, I wouldn't necessarily either. I really wish I could find the ones that I was watching, but for example, this is. At least visually speaking, because I think when it comes to the presentation of music, yes, of course, the audio matters. That is what music is. But when it comes to entertainment in music, I think the visual aspect of it, theatrical, whatever, it does play a point.
the difference between this and a keyboard? That's one of my questions.
So the difference would be, all right. So like all of these columns and rows are able to totally change the layout of this pad. So you've got all of these different layers that you can fill in all of these buttons to be whatever you want.
Yeah, but see, the problem with what this music is essentially it's sample, copy, and pasting.
Right.
Which to me defeats what music really is. Because you really had to have somebody record that, sample it,
yep.
give it to
it was already done.
So
thing.
Me giving, hey, this selection of buttons are going to give you this pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas,
but you can dictate that pattern.
Yeah.
So you could totally rewrite that song.
That's true. If this was a clear, that's why I said, what's the difference between this and a keyboard? Mm-hmm. Because if you're giving a person a blank piece of equipment and saying, okay, these are notes, these are musical notes, you have to make a song, it becomes very much more difficult and more organic and more real to me. Mm-hmm. Whereas, hey, these are samples, and you can kind of I get you could get really good at this stuff. Mm-hmm. I've seen the drum pad people playing, but to me it's you're never gonna get.
There's not enough
intimacy with the real instrument. Mm-hmm. You put a guitar in a person's hands and they have to have the music come out of them.
Yep.
Where this is like it's there, and
so
like I said, if it was just strictly sounds of, I don't know, because you're saying it samples too. Like, I can understand you can make music with a drum beat just like this.
Yes. Yep.
So I can get this. I totally get this. But would I pay money to see this? I don't think.
Oh no, right, no. So I'm not necessarily. Well, I guess that would also depend on would you go to see like someone like Deadmau5,
no,
Skrillex, right? So that just means that you aren't the kind of person that would want to go to see that kind of show, which I would agree. Yeah. I'm not necessarily one to be drawn to that either. Although I did see Swongle recently, and they were fucking awesome. And that's a DJ on stage doing the DJ thing. But that was really fun. So now,
but that's an experience.
Yeah, which is different, right? It's a night out to the town, right? Yeah. So now, would I go and want to see a guy on stage tapping on this all night? No, probably not. But as far as in this presentation, as YouTube videos and tributes and covers, things like that, and the level of freedom, which hopefully this will kind of show too, is impressive, I think.
Well, I see what it is.
So as a toy,
I don't even see it. I see it as an instrument, but you do. But okay, let's say we take away the lights, because the lights are playing a big factor here.
Yeah.
You're playing keyboard.
Yeah. I mean, basically, yeah.
So I guarantee you, if you change this to a person playing keyboards,
well, I mean, like,
what's the real difference here?
No, there isn't. I mean, no matter what, it's all electronic MIDI controller or whatever. But it's just a new form factor. And I can appreciate this form factor because now you said let's not consider the light show, but let us do consider the light show.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you wanted, you could have a table of these modules and you could literally put together, it doesn't have to be samples of already made songs. You can feed in whatever you want.
Yeah.
You literally could put an 88 keyboard on that.
Yeah.
And you dictate, and you can dictate what note is where, so it wouldn't even be.
So when I see this, I'm seeing this as a MIDI drum pad or MIDI with lights, which some guy was smart enough to put a screensaver
built into the keys. Yeah.
We're really breaking it down here. That's what we're doing here.
You're right.
It's synchronized. It's no different than going to Meshuggah and seeing the light show that's synchronized to the beat.
Yep.
So, does it look cool? Does it look flashy? Videos? Sure.
All right, so then let's try. Have you heard of the OP?
No. That's a great song. OP Ghost of Perdition.
I do love that fucking. Where the fuck is it? Hold on. Okay, right here. So now this is the OP1.
What's OP?
What's
OP?
I have no idea what it actually stands for, but this little gadget is fucking cool. It's a complete mixer, keyboard. So it gives you all different banks of sound
parameters
that you can then go in and tweak to get the sound that you want. Then it's got multi-track recording and live recording.
So what this is a Moog synthesizer.
Basically,
from the 70s.
Well, but from 2018.
Yeah.
So it's a Moog synthesizer that's been updated. It's got really neat visualizations, like you see this boxer guy, but somehow maybe that's like a punch attribute to the sound. So
yeah, that's. See, I'm gonna show you something else after this.
Okay.
This. See.
Yeah,
this is synthesizer music.
Yes.
Which John Carpenter.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Pink Floyd.
Yeah, I could get behind this. This is basic.
So, but listen, like he's building all these layers, and then as he gets things going, and then eventually, like listen, like this is a production. Yeah. Like I just think that's nasty for that little thing.
Yeah.
Which these can all be actually docked together in different configurations as well.
Put in John Carpenter's Night. Great video down the second video if you don't mind. All synthesizers. Great video too. Imagine driving.
Mm. Is this from a movie?
No.
From John?
No.
Because John Carpenter's a director.
Yeah.
But he's also a composer?
Yep. Oh, yes. He did the Halloween.
Yeah, but I thought he was a director of that.
He is, yeah.
But he's also
the composer. He's a huge composer. That's him right there.
What the fuck year was this? That's like an Oculus Rift.
Yeah.
2015. No shit. Okay. Because it sounds super 80s.
Yeah. This is a lot of that music is synthesizer music. Daft Punk, Giorgio.
Daft Punk, dude. I fucking love Daft Punk.
The ending's really, really cool though. It's like see that piano work coming in. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, gorgeous stuff. Yeah, I like the direction, like the director, like how they cut things, and film is just like music.
It really
always
is.
A good flow.
Yep. And I think
acting too.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm actually so drawn to editing.
Yeah.
Because I fucking love it, and I love it. It seems to exercise or access the same parts of my brain that it does if I'm in a room playing with musicians.
Yeah.
It really
it's
engages.
Process.
Yes, but it's creative, but it's also just like because I could feel like creative if I'm painting, but because I'm not a good painter, like I get it becomes detached.
Yeah.
But because I get so easily lost in video and in music, to me, it's great.
It's awesome. Somebody else is playing virtual reality too.
I was gonna say that you're just playing Grand Theft Auto 7.
Yeah.
That's all that is. That's funny.
It's great. He has entire albums. Of his. That's a whole different genre of music, synthesizer music, but the same principle, same things.
For sure. Have you ever seen the Marble Machine?
The Marble Machine, no.
No. One of my favorite put together instruments, or whatever you want to call it.
Oh man, look at that contraption, huh?
Hand built by that guy. This is the first machine. He built it all himself. The second machine, Marble Machine X, is coming up, and I've been watching the whole process. He's been putting out videos. Super fucking interesting. And this just checks off every little OCD thing in my brain. Complicated machinery, music, marbles doing things. I don't know why. I just love it.
Man, he's in time with the keeping count by his hand.
He's probably got a click track in his ear too.
Yeah.
The fact that he's gonna get in there with his hands too, genius.
Oh, he has the notes written down. Yep. Alright, so my question here, right, is this a musical feat or engineering feat?
Both. Because he wrote the song. He's a composer. He's in a band called Vintergarten. And Vintergarten Marble Machine. Yeah. He built the machine, but he wrote the music first. He composed it on piano, guitar, whatever. And then...
He just had to make a machine that can mimic...
Built the machine to play all the parts he wanted to play in the way he wanted to play them.
Yeah, I'm more impressed with the mechanical aspect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the song itself doesn't blow you away. Right. But it's impressive, and it's decent tune. It's a good melody. But yeah, I've always been obsessed.
Yeah, obviously you gotta have some engineering because I couldn't make that shit.
Hell no. So yeah, I don't know. Music is definitely going in a different, in an interesting kind of direction these days. Something like this is, there's always been mechanical musician things like sound boxes and stuff, and so this isn't necessarily breaking any molds or starting anything new, but
I don't know. I always hear some guitar players. They always ask the gurus. They always go, "Hey, what's the next step in guitar playing?" And it's really hard because I can't really say what the next step is because you can only, you're limited by your fingers. You only can play at most 8 notes at a time.
And that's if you're good.
Yeah. And you only have 12 notes to play with in all, even though you could configure it to it.
Right.
There is a finite amount.
Yep.
And in the soundscapes, you have distortions, choruses, and delays, but they're having, people are saying, and that's what's so great about music. It's like, you have this finite resource, even though it's a huge resource, but the way it's used is infinite because it's being interpreted by humans.
Yep. So, I mean, so when you, even a cover, right, if someone, whatever, Dean Martin or Sinatra did a song, right? And then, at that time it meant something and the culture accepted it in a certain way. 30, 40 years later, it's a really solid song. It's got good lyrics that still hold true. It's got a good melody, good tune, good groove. So it gets covered. But it's the exact same song. It's, obviously not sung the same way, but the words are the same, the melody's the same, the notes are the same. But it's a whole different world and it's a whole different song because we're different people taking it in.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And when it comes to, you're right. So, there's, if we're talking about guitar, there's only so many positions on that fretboard that you can play an actively good sounding note. And you can try and push the boundaries by using a finger slide and going beyond the fretboard, but then you're getting into really high squealy shit. So, you are sort of limited by the physical thing. But even if, just think of a tribute, like a band who loves another band, and they're going to do a tribute song. So it's not the exact same song, but it's the very basic
interpretation of it.
But it becomes a completely new thing almost on its own. So, and then of course now we've got electronics. So we were looking at the Launchpad, we were looking at the OP1, or synthesizers in general, which have been around since the 60s. We are able to now build noises and sounds that did not and cannot exist in nature. In nature being a vibrating string or hitting a drum. Yeah. We can't, we've only got so many sounds that we can push through those things.
Even then, we're restricted by the sounds of our ears.
Well, that's also true, right? Yeah. But even then, nowadays you're seeing that pushed because I've actually seen some video examples of guys who've got these sick systems in their car, and they've got the bass rumble, and it's to the point where that you actually can't even audibly hear it. You're just feeling it in the car.
Yeah. Oh, what you hear, that rattle.
Or right,
you know what the rattle's from?
The car falling apart.
It's from the license plate hitting the car frame.
Interesting. God, it's so stupid.
So when you hear the rattle,
even if it's screwed down tight, it's probably enough to flex it.
It's so stupid. I don't even know why people can't stand that.
Yeah.
Next question. Huh?
Right. Well, let's go on to this OLED. So LG's got a new TV. It's newish. It's called the Wallpaper TV. I find this to be super interesting. I would love to get my hands on this someday, maybe. But so.